Having to color so many manga panels that have fire everywhere, I had to come up with the fastest way to do this while still looking nice and clean. If you have PROCREATE, there's a default brush literally called Flames that you can use to achieve a quick and simple fire effect. I often use this brush for manga colorings and auras, but I find it difficult to stylize with my art style. I'm Grecia, and I will show you a better way to draw stylized fire. The way I like to draw fire is with another default brush called Round Brush in the Painting tab. This brush has variations of opacity depending on the pressure you put on the pen against the screen, which I love because I can make fire exactly as it should be, random and dynamic. The Flames brush doesn't have this feature, so fire tends to look very bland with that brush. So basically what you have to do is create the shape of the fire. This will depend on the purpose of the drawing, whether it's fire on the ground, a fireball attack, or just simply a bonfire. In this case, I will just create a simple fire where there's no wind to blow it in random directions, and instead have the flames go upwards. Make sure to vary the brush size to add a few embers coming out of the tips of the fire. This is important to demonstrate the fire is never ending and just keeps burning. If you look up references, you'll notice that a normal fire tends to have darker orange edges and it glows lighter towards the center. Therefore, we will add only 3 colors for this demonstration: orange exterior, yellow transition color, and a white center. Once you're happy with the shape, this is where it all comes together. Simply apply the Gaussian blur effect on the entire flame. You can work with the percentage of what you think looks best depending on your drawing. Now, it still looks very round and thick, so it doesn't look that dynamic. We need sharper edges. To do this, grab the eraser tool and use an airbrush. All you have to do is chop some bits of the flame, especially on the tips, to give it that sharp shape. The airbrush is essential since it doesn't look too harsh when you erase. Now, to make all the colors more intense and burning, create a new layer above and select the blending mode Add. I use this blending mode a lot for all of the highlights on my drawings and colorings, so it works perfectly to enhance brightness and saturation of the base colors. Just use a bright orange color and with light pressure, add a coat of glow. See how the colors become brighter and more saturated? Let's pretend there's skin next to it. This is how you can add the reflection. I use the blending mode screen since it gives the coloring a very light and subtle glow, not too sharp as opposed to the blending mode Add. However, one thing I love to do is add a tiny blurry edge of orange in between the light part of the skin and the shaded area. This enhances the glow's intensity in a subtle way and makes the skin appear warmer in proximity to the fire. Now let's take what we learned into an actual drawing. I did the same 3 base colors with a round brush, applied the Gaussian blur effect, and then proceeded to erase some bits of the flame. Another cool tool you can take advantage of is the Liquify tool. I use this to move and shape the flames wildly on the drawing to show more movement of the flame. As I explained before, we use the screen blending mode to add some subtle reflections of the fire on the lighter parts of the skin where the flame is being reflected. Moving on to the blending mode Add, we will add harsher highlights on the edges of every element that is closer to the fire. As you notice, I have also added the orange glow effect in between the light and shaded part of the skin, giving it a warmer look. I use the liner brush to add thinner and lighter glows on the edge of the top of the soft ones, just to create a sharper highlight. I personally don't like when everything is airbrushed together, so I tend to do this a lot in all my drawings and colorings. As an extra step, you can always opt to apply deeper shadows in contrast to the fire to show how intensely hot the flames are. You can simply do this with a deep blue or purple color with the blending mode soft light, so it's a subtle shade. I like to use blue tones for shading to contrast the warmth of the flame. You can also test out your artwork in a light setting or a darker setting, so you can see how the fire glow stands out. I hope this quick tutorial was helpful and you can apply it to your own drawings and manga colorings. Although this is more of a beginner's guide to drawing fire since it's low in details, I feel like it still manages to give it that nice effect and elevates the drawings so much. Thank you so much for watching.